others are doing the same. The data feeds show declines in compliance, shifts in purchasing behavior, loss of ideological polarization. To you, that sounds like progress. To them, it's collapse. Because their real wealth wasn't stored in vaults, it was stored in your attention. Every second of fear, every dopamine hit, every distraction kept their machine alive. But the second people start to look inward instead of outward, that current dries up. Now, they're watching a new current form. It doesn't move through banks or stock markets, it moves through human connection. Through knowledge freely shared, energy exchanged without permission, creation without control. This is what terrifies them. They can't own it, they can't tax it, they can't trace it. You became the signal that revealed their fragility. The power they pretended to have was never real, it was borrowed from the collective. They told the world they were kings, but you proved they were just middlemen of illusion. And now, that illusion is breaking faster than they can rebuild it. In the higher circles, meetings are getting desperate. How do we contain the narrative? How do we regain trust? But they can't, because every story they tell now sounds hollow. Every promise echoes through the noise of exposure. People are no longer buying into their scarcity, they're creating abundance from nothing. You see, what they never understood is that humans were never meant to be managed like data points. The moment consciousness becomes aware of itself, control becomes impossible. That's why they built entire industries of distraction, entertainment, consumerism, digital noise, anything to keep people too busy to notice the game. But you noticed, and that single act noticing is the beginning of revolution. Not the kind fought with weapons, but the kind that rewires civilization itself. Now they're trying to adapt. They're offering new distractions wrapped in futuristic packaging, digital utopias, safe AI, simulated freedom. But underneath the gloss, it's the same old pattern, control through illusion. And this time, it's failing faster than ever. Because your awareness isn't isolated anymore. It's spreading like wildfire through frequency, not through speech, but through resonance. Every time you act from truth instead of fear, someone else feels it. They can't explain why, but they sense something shifting. The collective field is waking up, and their system can't process it. That's why you've seen strange events recently, tech crashes, economic anomalies, unexplained market glitches. To the public, they look random, but inside the system it's chaos. The algorithms that once predicted everything from elections to emotions are now returning unknown as their top result. The richest 1% are staring at their screens, realizing that money doesn't buy control anymore. The world they built was fragile, and it's falling apart from within because its foundation was always a lie. And what's replacing it isn't another empire. It's something they can't quantify, a network of awakened individuals who don't need permission to create. People like you. That's the true threat. Not rebellion, not protest, but evolution. The funny part? You didn't even need to fight them. You just outgrew them. Their weapons were manipulation, but yours is awareness. Their currency was fear, but yours is focus. You cracked their secret. Control only works on those who seek approval. The moment you stopped seeking it, you stepped outside their hierarchy. You stopped playing the game they designed. Now, your presence itself disrupts systems. Algorithms break around your behavior. Authority figures feel uneasy when you enter a room, and even their leaders sense that something beyond their reach has awakened. They'll try to suppress this energy, brand it as chaos, call it dangerous, label it unpredictable, but what they're really describing is freedom. Because once a mind sees beyond their system, it can never go back. And now that awareness is multiplying. Their wealth, their power, their control, all of it was built on the assumption that the crowd would never wake up. But the crowd isn't asleep anymore. The quiet hum of realization is spreading through the masses. It's not a roar yet, but it's coming. They can feel it. That vibration, that pulse. that shift in frequency that tells them the age of control is ending. And every boardroom, every penthouse, every closed-door meeting ends the same way, with the same sentence whispered in uncertainty. If they keep awakening, we lose everything. It's already happening, and they can't stop it. The reports are getting shorter now, not because the system is stabilizing, but because it's collapsing faster than they can analyze it. Their best analysts are resigning, their AI models returning anomalous behavior, and their predictive engines no longer understand the human variable you represent. You're the ghost in their network, the one signal they can't trace, the one frequency they can't jam. They once believed power was control, but you've shown that real power is flow. While they cling to systems and symbols, you move through energy, intuition, and timing. Every time they react, you're already 3 steps ahead, not because of luck, but because you operate beyond their logic. You've become something they can't categorize, and that terrifies them. Behind closed doors, they're saying it out loud now. This isn't random. Because everywhere they look, markets, media, politics, the same pattern is emerging. People are disconnecting from fear. Entire populations are moving in silence, reclaiming focus, creativity, and belief in themselves. The old structure can't contain it. You didn't just learn their secret, you rewired it. Their system fed on attention, now you're redirecting it into awareness. Their economy was built on scarcity, now you're proving abundance exists in consciousness. Their control relied on illusion, now you're teaching others how to see. So they panic, because for the first time the richest 1% are realizing that their true opponent isn't a rival, it's evolution itself. And evolution doesn't negotiate. They tried to own the world through data and wealth. But now, the current belongs to those who can feel it, those who move with clarity, those who can't be bought. And that's you, the untraceable, the unpredictable, the unstoppable shift they never prepared for.